So who are you?
I am Aurore Thibout and I'm fashion and textile designer. We are in my studio in Paris.
And what is this? Some of your...
This is the special plant that I'm using for the dyeing, actually. So this is betel nuts, and this is lockwood, le bois de Campeche, and this is Chinese gala or Japanese sumac. So from these plants I can extract the juice and the colors that I use for the collection. Only natural dyes and plants.
Can you show me some examples?
Yeah, sure. So, for instance, the lockwood, it's very strong color. It's a symbol of the ancestors and the roots. So, all this purple and variation I made with this. This is coming from woods. Or Chinese gala, it's this deep gray.
And how did you make this? Because it's quite an interesting design.
Yeah, it's a very long process actually. It's from traditional technique of katasome that we change, and we propose another version, mixing contemporary approach and tradition. So this is first extraction of the color and then a process of stencil to obtain these traces of antique laces and motifs that we can find. So this is a collaboration with a craftsman in Kyoto, Akasaka Taketoshi, and la Cité Internationale de la Dentelle as well. So it's a combination of a lot of things.
And how long did you spend in Kyoto?
I spent 5 months, nearly 6 months in Kyoto with Villa Kujuyama. So I've been able to develop different projects around natural dyes and meeting between Japanese tradition, green approach, and how we can make sustainable colors and imprints.
So I guess you never make black.
Black we can do it, but with actually with a mix with two colors, for instance, like Chinese gala and indigo together, or it's but we cannot obtain it directly. We have to mix two plants together, but it's possible, nearly black.
And the piece for the Ikebana master.
Yeah, the piece for Ikebana master.
Can you try it on?
This one?
Yeah.
This is a very special piece. It's a coat made with wood and silk.
How does it feel on?
Well, it's easy to move because it's made to move. As for a dancer or Ikebana master, we talk about that she was able to make all the movement she wanted, and it's slices of wood, so it's suitable and supple. So it's in between. They keep the vein and the rhythm of the woods plus the original colors.
How do you keep the vein of the wood?
It's a special technique that they've got. It's a special company in Kyoto. And they're able to cut some slices like a sheet of paper, and then they're able to reweave and to keep all the chronology of the
tree,
of the vein and the tree.
Wow.
Yeah. But it's come from an old technique. First they use it for obi and kimono and shells. It used to be with shells that they put on paper, washi paper, and then they're able to cut. And now they are doing new version, and this is a new proposition with this antique technique. So
how long would it take to make this piece?
Well, I asked them, and I've been very in rush, and they had 3 weeks, about 3 or 4 weeks, to be able to make enough pieces for me to cut and to make the coat. So 4 weeks, I think it was a minimum for them to be able to make the fabric. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
The company is Tamiya, and it's an old company in Tango area. It's the north of Kyoto.
It feels like that could only be done someplace like Japan.
Yeah, I think so.
The
So,
patience
and it's really linked with history and the original technique anyway, because it's all the knowledge that makes possible to get this now.
And so the Ikebana master wore it.
It was
It was a special ceremony, or
yeah. I wanted her to be able to wear trees and flower as her life is dedicated to nature. So I made for a combination in between woods and natural dyes like that. This is coming from betel nut. So this plant that I show you before. So the linen is made with natural colors. The coat is made with wood and silk, only natural fabric. And so it has been exhibited and made for her in the meantime. So piece of exhibition, but as well, it was important for me that someone wear it and bring his identity and his spirit into the clothing.
It's kind of like a fairy tale.
And this was for her as well. This skirt with chiriman silk from Tango area as well. So it really looks like paper.
Beautiful. And how long did a piece like this take to make?
We had several moments of work together with the craftsmen. So we really did together all the process of dyeing and imprints, because normally in the traditional technique of katazome it's not so blurry, it's really precise. And so this was a work on unique pieces, like a painting actually, with shades and light and shadow. So
can you put that on too?
So for this project, it was important that it wasn't only an order from me to a craftsman, it was really a collaboration together, because he really wanted to be close to the idea that I wanted. So we did it together like a big painting, and I decided with him how to put the shade, how to put the lights with the colors. And usually we, for this katazome technique, is very small dimension. It's only 40 meters wide, and I asked for 1 meter wide to have this kind of shapes. So of course it changed the gesture, and it changed the dynamic of the gesture. So it can change as well the final motif. So it was a challenge for him, because it's really technique.
Beautiful.
So this is hemp and natural dyes and imprints of laces.
Beautiful. So when you work as a textile designer, let's say for a brand, how do you work?
I mainly work for my collection as a textile designer.
Okay.
So I did first deep research on motif, and it's a kind of laboratory of textile first, with a lot of sample to try to check if the color is good, if the resistance is enough, like if the color doesn't change too much. So it's a long research in advance, with tones, with what kind of plants we're going to use, what kind of colors we going to obtain, and which with which type of fabric, because each time we change of quality of fabric, if it's cotton or if it's silk, it's we won't have the same colors with the same plants. One plant with cotton and silk won't give the same tone, and if we change the mordant, it's change the tone as well. So I have a very big amount of samples about all of this, with all the notes about how long I put it in the extract of dyeing, how long or which quantity. It's a kind of big recipe that I keep, and that I have to keep to make all this variation of colors, all this gradation. And so yeah, first it's a big laboratory, and then I decide how to organize and how to place a motif. So it's kind of placed motif for a fabric, and I prepare everything for the craftsman. So it's a long work to adjust, because I give them exactly where I want to have the motif in the piece. For instance, for this top, it's at this place in a rectangle of the fabric. So it's important for them to know exactly which centimeters where it's going to be.
So each piece is kind of one of a kind, though.
Yeah, because
it changes a bit.
Yeah, because depending on the gesture of each craftsman, anyway, as everything is made by hands, all these techniques that we see here are like this one.
So are all these craftsmen, are they Japanese or is it made here?
They are all made in Japan or in Taiwan, and I do all the other research, pattern making, all the research here. So it's still a combination between Taiwan, Japan, and France. This is from Taiwan, and with original indigo, which grows as well in Taiwan. So it's an original plant coming from the fields of Taiwan. And I work with this technique of katazome as well, but the Taiwanese version. And so we're able to have this variation of positive and negative.
Do you teach as well?
Yeah, I teach regularly some workshops about recycling, about how we can make sustainable fashion, or how we can transform a bit some original method or technique, and how we can bring a contemporary approach. Yeah.
And is your biggest market in Asia or?
My main market is in Japan.
Yeah.
They've been
because they understand.
Yeah, very long-term clients. So they are following my work since the beginning, since a long time now.
Are they like small shops or?
It's
not the department stores, I wouldn't imagine.
Not really department store, but they can have different shops. So some brands got 4 or 5 shops, but I know them pretty well, and I have close contact with them to explain the process, to explain as well how to for the instruction of washing and how to protect them in the long term, because it's we cannot put in a washing machine. It's really delicate, and as well to explain how we create the pieces. So pretty often I try to go there and to meet the clients, the final client directly.
Trunk shows.
Yeah, kind of opening, and to talk and to exchange with the final clients, to have their feedback, to understand what's they like to wear, how, and it's very interesting as a communication, and it gave me a lot of indication of how to go on, and if I go in this type of shape, or if I change for the next time, if they prefer silk, or I don't know. For instance, in Japan's cotton is very nice for light cotton for summer, because it's so warm and wet. so I can adapt, and in the meantime I can tell all the story behind. It's very important to tell them how it's made and who made it and in which way. So with videos, with plants, I come with my plant and I show them. So in this way it's
No, I think it's necessary so people understand. Also, to understand the pricing.
yeah, exactly, because everything is made by hands.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is applied by hands. So, yeah. So this is a collaboration with Sophie Allet, laces from France,
Mm-hmm.
Livers and haute façon laces. So one of a kind pieces that I made with them for exhibiting mainly.
Mm-hmm. Exhibiting where?
I exhibited it in different places, in Kyoto for the Nuit Blanche,
Mm-hmm.
and in other situations, yeah, depending.